Okie dokie. Okie dokie. It's a little bit darker. It's a little bit darker. I kind of like it. Kind of like it. I've had to reset everything up. I had to reset everything up because I took everything down and now it's all back up again. So it's a little bit darker. This is a weird way to start a video that is your first in 6 months. That's a strange way of doing it, but I'm going to keep it in. Hello everyone, welcome back to Faded Cinema FM with me. My name is Chris. I hope you're all doing well. So I've been away for a while. I'm touching the mic. I don't know if I should be touching the mic. I'm doing a little bit more laid back. You know, I've got the mic like I'm a crooner on stage. I haven't recorded in a while. Can you tell? This is all a bit new to me again now. So yeah, I've been away for a while. Now, I didn't intend to be away for so long, but I just took some time. I took some time that I needed, and I'm feeling better, but not good still. Like, better, not great still, but better than I was. So I just want to talk about. I don't know. I know I did that video like 5 months ago, 6 months ago, wherever it was, which is really like 2 minutes long, brief. I'm not feeling great, so I'm going to take some time and sort of expand on where I was in November. And where things might be going, possibly. So it's a little bit vague. It's an update. It's an update video with a view to talking about what my future plans are. That's a less roundabout way of saying it, I guess. I'm not going to go too deep into this stuff because it's to do with my mental health, and I don't really want to project that out into the world too much, if I'm honest. But I can, at a top level, top sort of like informational level, my mental health hasn't been great for like 12 months, I think, going back to like mid to late summer 2023, I think. I haven't been myself for a while, and I'm still not, but I'm getting better. So that's sort of like, I've hit the mic, that's why I shouldn't do it like this. That's sort of like the backdrop for everything that I'm going to talk about in a minute, about why I stopped uploading, and what I plan to do in the future. But before I get into all of that, I do want to apologise to the people who reached out to me on Twitter and in the comments of the videos and all that sort of stuff. New subscribers that have reached out and said they enjoy the content and stuff. Apologies for not responding to you guys. I've just sort of retracted myself a little bit from the internet over the last 6 months. It's not that I haven't appreciated the people getting in touch. I have. I haven't been in the space to respond, essentially. So apologies for that. So with that sort of back knowledge, with that sort of like background knowledge in your heads, this is roughly in sort of like 4 parts or less why I stopped uploading to the channel. The first numero 1. These aren't in any particular order. It's just I've written them down on this list thing, and that's the way they appear. The first one is that I just started becoming unhappy really with what I was making. You know, that the content that I was making wasn't really enjoying it anymore. It started to become a bit sort of like paint by numbers, a bit formulaic. It was still fun. I still had fun playing the saves, but it wasn't like all that interesting to me to do it that way. Trying to get out like three to by the end of sort of, just before I stopped uploading, I was trying to get out 5 videos a week. Daily uploads and all that sort of stuff, and it just got a little bit like grindy and not as interesting for me to make. It was very formulaic. I'd play a couple of games on camera, or rather, I'd introduce the episode, talk about what happened between now and the last episode, whinge about something probably, or praise a player, or just give a brief update on the save, play a couple of games, edit that, upload it, and done. And then like real life, what I would be doing is sort of batch recording those. So I'd be recording essentially like 3 to almost all of the episodes all at once, and then like hammering through the edit for the rest of the week. And it just got a bit like factory line, like production line stuff. And it just stopped being as fun. It was, yeah. I mean, Football Manager is difficult, I think, to create content for in a lot of ways, because there's only like, it's not a game that lends itself to artistic expression. It's, you're going to be doing like 5 types of videos, like the longer form Let's Play stuff, tactics videos, Wonder Kid scout list things, tactical breakdowns, stuff like that. What's the other one? There's another, rebuilds. Everyone did like rebuilds. Everyone loves a rebuild, And I tried doing if you go back through the content on the channel, I tried doing some of those videos. I did a rebuild for Oldham, which I thought was quite fun. Quite enjoyed doing that. I did tips videos. I didn't do any tactics videos because I'm not very good tactically. But all of those videos, at the time anyway, they felt like they were taking away from me doing what I'd gotten my audience for, which was the long form Let's Play stuff. So I kind of shunted them away. They felt like I was doing them to try and grab views, and subscribers, like get boost the numbers, boost up the rookie numbers, which isn't really why I want to make content. I hate the word content. Why do I keep saying it? I don't want to make videos for the express purpose of getting an audience. I want to make them because they're fun and I like making them. So yeah, that's sort of like number one, is that I'd stopped liking what I was making. Essentially, I wasn't excited to sit down and make stuff anymore. I was just sort of doing it because I had a schedule to keep, which it's not really great for your like enjoyment levels, and this is a hobby, this is my hobby. Hobbies are meant to be fun, they're not meant to be a grind. so that was that was a problem. The other one is more of like, this is more of like an internal to me thing, but I feel like it's important for me to talk about it. I'd started to notice some like quite unpleasant behaviours in myself when I was sort of in sort of September, October time of last year, so about a month before I stopped. I'd gotten quite hooked on like checking the views and stuff. I just talked about like not wanting to make content for the express purpose of getting views and subscribers, but I'd fallen into that trap that a lot of YouTubers do of constantly checking, the analytics and the views and the subscriber count, and like, why isn't it going up? And am I rubbish? What is going on? And then just like beating yourself up, and it's just that also wasn't conducive to wanting to make things, when you're like, well, I'm making stuff and nobody wants to watch it, so what's the point? Yeah. As if people owe me their attention, And off the back of that, I'd also started, because I felt that my stuff wasn't getting the attention it deserved. What a prick. I'd also started keeping an eye on other YouTubers, other FM YouTubers, and wondering why their stuff was getting more views and more subscribers. Like, what is about them that they've got that I don't? Like, hello, Edity Chris here, while I'm just editing this thing together to get it ready to put out. I've also just realised that in amongst all that stuff about talking about always wanting more subscribers and more views and being a bit narcissistic and precious about not getting that, it's quite disrespectful to the audience that I already have. You guys, and I don't ever want to feel like I'm sort of taking you guys for granted either. It was an unpleasant time. It was an unpleasant series of thoughts that had started rooting into my head. Bit rubbish. A bit rubbish. Back to me from sort of like 12 hours ago. And it's just a horrible behaviour. It's just an unpleasant part of myself that came out. And I didn't like it. I didn't like that I'd unearthed an aspect of my personality like that. He's in there. He's still in there. I've managed to like shove him down, but he's still in there. Like, creating stuff is hard. It's not hard in that it doesn't take a lot for me to sit down, turn on my camera, and play a video game that I really like. That's not hard. That is not a hardship. But it's hard for someone. Well, I think for everyone, but certainly for someone like me, I'm quite introverted. If you knew me in real life, I'm quite introverted. YouTube and being on camera is sort of a release for me to be able to act a bit of a prat from time to time, and let like a not a repressed side of me, that's the wrong word, let the extrovert side of me that is in there come out a little bit. So creating is hard for me in that way, in that like I'm putting myself out there, opening myself up to judgment, and then what I started doing was not only like opening myself up for judgment from the audience and potential audience, but I'd also start judging myself because the potential audience or the audience wasn't enjoying it, or I thought wasn't enjoying it. It's just a weird like headspace that I'd gotten myself into, and again with the backdrop of my mental health being a little bit like fragile anyway, I wasn't in a good headspace for sort of like the months leading up to when I eventually stopped uploading. Off the back of that, or related to that as well, I just started to get like fed up a little bit with the attention economy as a concept, you know, and my role in that. So the attention economy being, you know, things like YouTube and Reddit and Twitter and Facebook and all these things that are just like screaming for your attention. They're just like wanting you to take time out of your life, time that could be spent doing anything, you know. People like me and people who are on Twitter and people who are on Facebook and Reddit and blah blah blah, they all just want your time and your attention. They want seconds of your life, little minutes or hours of your life, you know, the one life you get. They want it. And they want you to watch the thing that they've made. I want you to watch the thing that I've made. I want you to watch this video that I'm making right now. It's all part of it. And I'd started to think, like, because I know how sort of like doom scrolling through Reddit and you know, keeping up with all the horrible news that's going on in the world and just doom scrolling and getting so, what am I trying to say? I know how that stuff affects my mental health, and I didn't like the thought that I was potentially being a part of that for someone else. You know, someone watching my videos who might also be struggling with their mental health. I didn't like the idea that I was part of that attention economy that was maybe playing a part in their own struggles. You know, and I just started to feel really weird about it. If I scratched my hand, I've got a big bloody lump on my forehead. That's going to be lovely on the video, isn't it? Yes, beautiful. Look at that. What is that? Oh, maybe I've got a... I'm nearly 40. I shouldn't still be getting spots at 40, should I? Jesus. So those are sort of like the sort of like the internal to me things, you know, where I was just unhappy with what I was making. I was unhappy with this like version of me that had come out and was judgy and narcissistic, and I was unhappy with just being part of this like attention thing where we're all screaming for your time. Pay attention to this thing I've made. All of that. And then the last sort of like, some would argue probably the most important thing, but I can't. Football Manager. I just kind of don't like it that much at the moment, or hadn't really. It started with FM23, I think. In fact, I know it did because I went back through my post in my community tab thing, where I said I wasn't really enjoying Football Manager 23 that much, so I'm going to take a week off or whatever it was, you know. And that sort of continued into 24. I really liked 22. I remember really enjoying 2022, but I wonder if that was because that was the game that I'd started the channel on. That was the first one that I'd started making content for. So I had all the fun and excitement of getting to grips with being a Football Manager content creator, which sort of maybe overrode some of the miseries that were in the game, you know? Miseries, again, that's a strong language. Miseries isn't the right word, but you know what I mean. But FM23 and FM24 certainly, like, they're still the best Football Manager games out there because, like, let's be honest, they're the only ones out there that are worth playing. But there are parts of that game that I just can't work with at the moment. You know, I can't put aside my distaste for those parts of the game. I've talked about this before, right? So the core gameplay loop, this is that one. I'll use this hand because that was more on camera. The core gameplay loop of Football Manager is really, really simple and it's really, really fun. You pick a club, you devise a system, you find players, and you try and win football games. That is it. At its core level, that is Football Manager. It's not an overly convoluted gameplay loop, you know? But... And I don't want it to sound like I'm shitting on the developers. I know the developers work hard, and I know what it's like to work with systems that have got like technical debt and, you know, pressures of getting features out on time, and, you know, you're making a thing that's going to be consumed by video game players who historically aren't wonderful people or can be unpleasant people, you know. So I get all that, you know, but the FM as it is now it doesn't really feel that fun to me outside of that core gameplay loop. And the problem is that all of the other systems in the game are there to support and serve that core gameplay loop. But if they feel knackered or broken or stupid or tedious, then that makes the rest of the game feel knackered, broken, stupid, and tedious. So like the interaction system. I don't understand how you can say to a player, you've trained really, really well this week, and then they can turn around and say, no, I haven't. are you insane? I'm gonna have to think about my position at the club. And actually, moreover, I'm gonna kill you in your sleep. Like, I don't get it. I know I've managed people, right, in real life. In previous jobs, I've managed people, and I know that people respond to praise and criticism differently, but they respond to them like they're human. And the players in Football Manager don't feel human, and they're supposed to. You know, I know they're not human. I know they're lines of code represented by a terrible regen face, but they're meant to feel human. And for a part of the game that is so, like, managing your relationship with the players is such a core part of being a Football Manager in real life, then it has to be a core part of the game. And it's terrible. It is terrible, because once you've had that bad interaction with that player may then go off and talk to all the other players in your squad and cause a massive uproar where the entire squad is pissed off. You know, we've all had it when, like, a youth player or whatever, or a third choice right back is clamouring for a new contract, and you say, no, you can wait till the end of the season. And he goes, I don't want to wait, I want it now. And you go, well, you're not getting it now, you have to wait. Be a man, be an adult, be a man. Terrible, don't ever say that to anyone. Be an adult. Wait until the end of the season. And then the rest of the squad comes to you and goes, he deserves his new contract. You know, those 2 appearances he's made and he averaged a 6.3 rating, he deserves a new contract with a massive pay rise. And if you don't give it to him, we're going to force him out of this club. It's ridiculous. I hate it. And those are just two things. You know, like, there are other systems in the game that just don't feel like well worked. You know, like I've talked about this before as well, where using your director of football as is intended to be used, you know, finding players, making offers for those players, sorting out the contract and stuff. You can't do that with them, because they'll either find players that you don't need, or they'll offer a contract that your wage structure cannot afford and take the club into the debt, you know, into the red. And he's not the one who's going to get in trouble for that, because you are in charge of the wage structure. And that doesn't make sense to me. Like, there's just a number of things that they just make that core gameplay loop harder to enjoy, you know, because it's just like, it's kind of like, I guess an apt metaphor for me would be going to the cinema to watch a film, and instead of being able to watch the film, you've got all this stuff, all this chattering going on around you, and you can't enjoy the thing that you've come to enjoy because all this other crap is happening around you, and you just want to take all that crap and throw it out the window, you know. And that other crap, unfortunately, is like 70% of the game. So if you're not interacting with 70% of the game, are you even playing the game anymore? Really? I don't know. So, and obviously, not enjoying the game that you're making videos about makes it harder to make videos about them. The thing of it is that some of that stuff can be entertaining. You know, if you're making videos about Football Manager, you can take some of the annoyances and turn them into, like, a part of the narrative, you know? Like, if you're playing a match and you concede a penalty that absolutely wasn't a penalty, because you can see it in the match engine. I've done this on video as well. You can slow it down, right down to watch the contact that your player makes on the ball, and then their player falls over and they get given a penalty. Like, you can take that stuff and turn it into, like, a conspiracy against you by the referees, you know? Fun. You can make that a part of the narrative. Yeah, sure, it's annoying in the moment because you've just conceded a penalty that's cost you the league or whatever, but it did actually, didn't it? I lost the Champions League to a dodgy penalty, I think, with Liverpool once. Can't remember. You can take that stuff like that and turn that into part of the narrative, you know, or like me getting annoyed about the UI, some of the things in the UX that kept annoying me back in, like, FM23. Like, you can make that kind of funny, like, oh, look, he's losing his temper again, funny. But after a while, when you play the game as much as you have to when you're making content on it, making videos on it, that stuff gets harder and harder and harder to square away and to sort of, like, put in a box so you can just make the video and make a fun video and make a you know, something that you can be proud of. That stuff gets harder to deal with. And around sort of like September, September time last... No, I did it right the first time around. Around September, October time last year, before I stopped uploading, combined with all the other stuff I've just talked about, I just couldn't get over the fact that the Football Manager was just annoying me. It was just pissing me off. And I couldn't... What's the point then, you know? If you're sitting down angry to do your hobby, then there's no point, is there? You might as well just stop. So that's what I did. So yeah, I mean those are reasons why all the reasons why I stopped uploading. You know, and that's been about 6 months now. You know, but I've started to miss making videos. I've been doing a load of other creative stuff, just for fun, basically. I've been doing a bit of writing, doing a bit of photography, a bit of graphic design, all this sort of stuff, and you know, doing my job and my life and all that stuff, all the stuff you're meant to do as a functioning adult. But I have been missing making videos. So it's gotten me thinking about the future of Fairly Determined FM, because I don't want to stop necessarily. I didn't intend this break to be so long. I just needed a bit of time away, really, which I've had now. I feel like I've had now. I feel better enough to sort of like maybe try and do some Football Manager stuff, maybe. But it's going to be a bit different. You know, there are ways around the things that I've been talking about in this video. You know, like some of them are harder than others, but there are ways around it for me. You know, like the big one, I guess, is not enjoying the content. You know, so the way around that, unfortunately, is to stop doing the sort of like 3 to 5 episodes a week Let's Play stuff. So I think the plan that I've got going around in my head at the moment, it's not fully like formed or anything. I just wanted to talk about it. I think the plan that I've got at the moment is just to pick a save and make videos about it as and when I feel like making videos about it. And those videos will be on whatever I want them to be about. You know, I had a save in this sort of break period, because I thought maybe if I continue playing Football Manager without the pressures of recording and editing and getting stuff up there, that I would enjoy it again. And I kind of did, if I'm honest. I kind of did. It was a Scunthorpe save, and there was one goal that we scored when we were in League 2 that was just incredible. It was the culmination of all my tactical tweaking that I've been doing over the season in the National League, and then the start of the season in League 2, and it was exactly how I wanted that team to play football. And I was so obsessed with that goal that I wanted to make a video on it, but I was still very deep into not wanting to be on YouTube for the moment, so I didn't do it. But it got me thinking, like, I could do stuff like that, you know, where I'm playing my save and I'm doing videos about parts of that save that interest me or that inspire me to make a video, you know. Which means that content on the channel will become a bit more sporadic, you know, but I mean, the gap between this video and the last one was 6 months. It won't be like that, I don't think. But that's sort of what I'm thinking of doing at the moment, is just, you know, picking a save and making sure that I get out, like, you know, a half season and an end of season video, you know, so that sort of like this is how the save is going, this is what's been happening, have a look at these goals, weren't they great? All this, that is kind of what I'm thinking, you know, because it leaves me free to not have to sort of like put on a brave face, essentially, for all the things that really annoy me. I can just play the game, record myself playing it, and then cut all that together into a sort of like a longer narrative thing, which I think is appealing to me because of all the reasons I've just talked about, where I, you know, don't want to have to deal with the annoyances of the game on camera, but also because I really enjoy the editing process. I like creating a story out of like footage, out of raw footage. I like that. So I think that's probably what I'm going to try and do. I haven't decided on what club yet, but I think that's probably what I'm going to try and do. And I think if I enjoy that, then cool, I'll continue doing that. And you know, apologies ahead of time for the people who enjoy like the Let's Play stuff, but I don't feel like that's what I want to do on this channel anymore. Maybe that'll change in the future, I don't know. But right now, I feel like I'm kind of done with it. So I'm going to be doing more sort of like more narrative stuff is the plan. And that's kind of it. Bloody hell, I've been recording for half an hour. How much of this am I going to cut out? This is a long old video. It's a long old video to basically whinge about Football Manager and my content, and then go, I'm probably going to do some different stuff. Now, I could have just returned without this video in the interim, but I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to just like do that, because, you know, I wanted to talk about what had happened and where I've been and why I've been and all this sort of stuff. So now I've done that. And this is the end of the video. So I'll work off the rustiness of talking and being on camera and all that sort of stuff. Don't worry, it won't all be this abrupt Um, so yeah. Anything else in my little script thing here I want to talk about? No, there's not. That's kind of it. If you've got any questions, put them down in the comments. You know, ask away. I'm more than happy to you know, answer any questions you might have. What a weird way to end this video. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you thought down in the comments, and I will see you back here at some point, probably with whatever's next for Fairly Determined FM. Yeah, that's an ending, isn't it? Yeah, that'll do. All the best. Cheers. Bye.